I'm Zach Engler, Chief AI Officer for C4 Technical Services. Welcome to the AI for Executives podcast. So last week, we walked through this whole flow chart of how to build an AI-first organization. This week, we're going to be talking about how do you actually start driving revenue through this new form of getting work done. So I've got the flow chart up. We're going to take a look at that. We're also going to dive into how C4 can help support you on this journey. We regularly work with Fortune 500 companies on rolling out AI as effectively as possible. Our methods are tested. We've done over 60 different trainings just in the last year alone, and we've seen some pretty phenomenal results. The average person that walks away from our training is seeing a 36% productivity boost with just 3 things: access to a large language model, number 2, the ability to transcribe meetings, and number 3, proper prompting techniques. So with proper prompting techniques, that's where we come in. As C4, we train up your teams. We show them not only how to just use the tools, but how to get the most out of the tools so they can be more effective with their work. People are vastly underselling what large language models can do. They oftentimes run into a few roadblocks and hurdles from the get-go and say, this thing's too dumb. It doesn't know what I want. It doesn't do the things the way I want them to do it. That's not on the AI. That's on you. There's this quote. If you haven't seen the movie Gladiator with Russell Crowe, phenomenal movie, go check it out. But there's a scene where Marcus Aurelius is talking to his son, Commodus, and he says this famous line that has literally stuck in my head as a leader for my entire life. And he says, "Your faults as a son are my faults as a father." And I still kind of get goosebumps and shivers thinking about this, because as leaders in an organization, you might want to blame everybody for the company's problems, but it's not their problem. It's your problem. I'm sorry if that offends you, but if you were a great leader, your teams would know how to follow in a way that was ultimately effective. And this same methodology applies for AI. This idea that the AI is not performing or doing the things that you want it to do is not the AI's fault. It's your fault. And I'm not trying to say that to be obligatory. I'm trying to say that to get you in a new mindset of how you can leverage these tools, how you can think about these tools being applied to your everyday work. So we're going to dive into the flow chart here and look at how can you start turning this idea on its head of you literally have the world's most intelligent entity ever created sitting in your pocket. It's just really dumb when it comes to knowing how to do things the right way. So by taking our methodology and this approach, you can start helping AI understand how you do what you do as an organization, and that's where the magic starts to happen. So when it comes to making the magic happen, there's this idea that you're going to start stitching together how AI is folded into your business, starting at the individual contributor level and building up to an org-wide orchestration of multiple AI tools. The reason we do it that way is because if you try to do it the other way around, where you have this monolithic, new, fancy, customized AI system rolled out, your teams probably aren't going to be a fan of that. People are already highly skeptical of AI in and of itself. People are incredibly worried and fearful of what AI can do, or the fact that it might replace their jobs. And so if you try to roll out this monolithic custom AI system that's supposed to make everybody's jobs easier without explaining it to your teams, training your teams up on how it works, and showing them how this is going to benefit their career in the long run, they're going to do a couple things. They're going to throw their hands up at the first sign of any sort of roadblocks. They're not going to adopt the tool in the way that you hope they would because they don't see the incentives for them. They might even sabotage the tool if they have any sense that this thing is going to replace the work that they're doing. All of those are documented use cases that people have already done with this type of approach. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through this crawl, walk, run approach that we roll out here at C4. We're going to talk about how you can instill a sense of autonomy, mastery, and purpose behind your staff that are going to be rolling out these tools. And once the individual contributors collectively start seeing how AI can benefit them and the work that they're doing, then they start looking at their SOPs or their tasks, right? So that's the first part of this process. You want to get your teams looking at how do I do what I do at the task level. And so people do the task and they record it and they monitor it and they document it, and AI learns from that. And then you can start picking apart what is the AI going to do and what are the people going to do. Once you get your standard operating procedures for your tasks established, those then stack into your workflows, and you start stitching together multiple SOPs to accomplish workflow automation. This could be something as simple as writing a blog post with your marketing team. This could be something as complex as your entire customer journey with your sales team being supported by AI in different ways. Once you start working through the complexity of getting team members bought in, stitching teams together, then you can actually zoom out and start looking at your business as a whole. By stitching multiple workflows together, now you have organizational work streams that are all working together in concert. Your people become the orchestrators. They can sit back and watch the magic happen. They can step in where appropriate. They can take over where appropriate. But the AI is the one that orchestrates everything at this level. Why is this important? Well, like I said, people are fearful that AI is going to replace them. And I'm going to be completely brutally honest. In some instances, they will get replaced by AI. But that's probably a symptom, not the disease itself. The reason they're getting replaced is because the work that they're doing shouldn't have been done by a person in the first place. Nobody on this planet was born to copy and paste things from a spreadsheet to a CRM. And there's people out there that essentially do that for their role right now. That needs to change. There's dangerous, dirty, and undesirable work that AI can help support. What you want to be doing as an organization is figuring out, how do we take care of mapping all of this out, handing off as much of this work to AI as safely, securely, and feasibly as possible? And then how do we start shifting people to get, again, focus on what are those human-only tasks that we can now elevate? What are those human-only tasks where we can provide a whole different level of customer service, a whole different level of user experience that no competitor can even come close to, because everything else in your business is fully automated and humming along without your attention. So it's really figuring out, okay, first we work on the left side of this chart and we get everything lined up and orchestrated. Then we go back to the right side of the chart, the people only stuff, and we figure out what can we push to the left side. That's what this arrow is all about. So now, hopefully this is all making sense. Hopefully this is all coming together. If it's not, there's probably pieces that I left out from the first video where you could go back and watch that first video just to make sure that you're covering all your bases. Now, in all of this, we work through these 3 stages as an organization with you. And by doing this, it's our hope that you'll uncover this whole new capability that most organizations haven't realized yet. I would say maybe 5 to 7% of businesses have figured out what's behind this mystery box, and they're actively working on that. So we're still early, but like I said, that there's a gap that's getting wider and wider in terms of AI capability, in terms of if you don't start now, at some point in the next year, you're going to be so far behind, it'll be impossible to catch up. So what is Crawl, Walk, Run? As I said in the last video, it is getting your teams up to speed in the crawl stage, getting everybody trained and ready to roll with how AI can support their work. In the walk stage, you're now stitching different parts of your business together. And in the run stage, you are looking collectively at your organization as a whole and figuring out, how do we do what we do? And is there IP in that? Is there intellectual property that can drive your organization forward and help indirect competitors as a product or a service? So in my last video, I talked about this idea of a hot tub sales experience where you go through and a chatbot meets you on your website, talks with the customer, figures out what they want, books a sales appointment for them to come into the showroom. They come into the showroom, they talk with the salesperson documents via recording what that person is looking for. They either buy or they don't buy. If they don't buy, then the AI helps support the salesperson in the follow-up to ultimately close the deal. If they do buy, the AI coordinates everything else after that, shipping, delivery, all that. Then, if you're Whirlpool and you've rolled out this AI system, you can show any indirect competitor of high-ticket items what your system does and offer that as a service to them. You can show a motorcycle dealership how your AI system connects with customers online, gets them scheduled with in-person experiences that are above and beyond anybody else, and ultimately helps your salespeople close the deal. You could sell that as a service to other high ticket items. Think about appliance stores, think about Sleep Number in the bed industry, right? Like that idea of mattresses tend to be higher ticket items now. Once you figure this out, you can do it all because you've taken the time to work your teams and your company through the crawl, walk, run stage. So before I reveal the mystery box, let me walk you through how C4 Technical Services can support you with this. So we've spent the last year putting together an AI adoption journey roadmap. Now, some of you watching this video might be like, Zach, I don't need to train my teams. I've already given them a whole bunch of prompting techniques. They already know how to use large language models. They're building custom GPTs or agents, and we're already past the crawl stage. That's fine. You might be in the walk stage, and that's great. we can jump in there too, and we can help support your business at that level. You might be at the run stage. You might be one of those 5% companies that figured it out. And if that's the case, we can help support there too. We've developed methodologies and practices that can help at each of these stages. And we've broken it down into 4 categories: educate, build, scale, and evolve. In the educate phase, it's all of that training that I talked about earlier in the last video. It's the 15 different courses that we provide, anywhere from 1 hour to 5 hour long sessions to get your teams up to speed with AI. In the build stage, then we start mapping out workflows and SOPs and stitching things together for your organization with the AI tools that you already have at your disposal. We do it safely, securely, and we make sure that you can walk away with a full understanding of how it works. So you might be past all of the educate phase. You might even be past some of the build phase where you've already connected together some of your departments with automations or AI systems. If you're in the scale phase, we can still help you. We've created essentially what we call an AI pod service, where we have a team of consultants who have done this work multiple times, and they can come into your organization because at this point, you're probably realizing everything's moving really fast. We need additional support. We don't have the capacity to hire more headcount. We just need a team of experts who can come in, get one project done, and then pop out, and we can keep the flywheel going. So that's really what our team does, is that surgical type of approach of what is the one element that you need done. Is it an Azure-based multi-agent hub and spoke type AI system? Or maybe it's just a simple workflow automation in Power Automate or N8N or something like that. Regardless of what it is, our team can come in and they can help support you with that. If you're in the evolve stage, now you're going to actually be in a different playing field. And again, this is probably only 5% of businesses out there right now. But if you're in the evolve stage, you've come to the realization that business is going to start moving so fast that agents are going to be the only thing that can keep up. And as a person who's running an AI first organization, if you can come up with the right ideas, those ideas can turn into actionable items and revenue for your business at a speed nobody is ready for. And that's where we can help you figure out, what is that North Star? What is the ultimate end goal for what you want your business to be? How is AI going to play a part of that? And how can you help shape that in a way that's ethical, sustainable, and reliable and secure? Okay, back to the mystery box. So in the last video, we talked about moving from SOPs to workflows to org work streams. We've talked about how you go from crawl, walk, run. What is this all leading to? Why is this so important? And why do you need to figure this out now? Well, the world is about to change. In 2027, like I said, things are going to be moving so fast that AI agents, right, like AI systems, are going to be the only ones that can keep up. So if you don't build this skill set into your team's inherent capabilities, they're not going to be able to interface with these agents in a way that helps move your business forward. If they can't interface in a way that helps move your business forward, your competition starts to outpace you, the gap widens, and before you know it, you're the next blockbuster video. So what's the secret box? APIs. This is where business is going in the future. Every business is going to be an API. And what I mean by that is, if you're doing knowledge work as a part of your business, you're going to need to be thinking about being an API. So what is an API? An API stands for Application Programming Interface. It's been around for a long time, and it's how different computer systems talk to each other. Well, in the future, if agents are the ones that are helping business run, if agents are moving so fast that people can't keep up, agents are going to need an API. And I want you to think about this in 2 different ways. Number one, you need to get AI's attention. Pretty soon, in the next year or so, we're going to see transitions of people no longer going to Google and searching for things. They're going to be asking Gemini to go find things for them. If you don't have that shiny red blinking light beacon out there in the AI sphere telling Gemini and Claude and Perplexity and ChatGPT, here we are, this is what we do, this is why we're the best option for you, you're going to fade away. The AIs will ignore you, your customer traffic will start dropping off. The web as we know it is going to evolve massively as these agents pick up speed and capability and as user adoption grows. The world is going to wake up in the next year or so, and as it does, things are going to shift to being more AI-centric than they ever have been in the past. So you need that API beacon blinking for your organization, which means you need to go through and figure out, what are all the things that you do, and most importantly, how do you do it? Because if you can showcase and prove that what you do, that magic recipe of how you do what you do, is working better than any of your competition, that becomes a new product and a signal. So let's say you're a pharmaceutical company. You have a product or a set of products that your salespeople are regularly going out and selling to different organizations. How you research, build, and establish those product lines and how you do what you do is that secret recipe that makes you the best drug company or pharmaceutical company out there. So in the next year, there's going to be this new way of getting AI's attention. So doctors that are your customers or the healthcare systems that are your customers, when they start asking their AI, what's the best pharmaceutical company for XYZ drug or XYZ application, that shining beacon is there getting the agent's attention and bringing them to your content or your website. Once you bring them in, though, you need to prove to them that your methodology is better. And that's where you need an API that helps other indirect competitors and your customers better understand you. If none of this is making sense, there's a lot of other videos, and we'll include one in the show notes that you can go watch that'll help explain what I mean by your business needs to be an API. But the last piece that I'll cover here is what I meant by helping your indirect competitors. So the way you make your pharmaceuticals in this example is completely unique to your organization. And there's a lot of other tangential companies out there that might benefit from that methodology, right? There's a lot of other companies that do heavy amounts of research and R&D, then they build a product or service, and then they launch it out into the world. If you can boil down that process into a really effective AI-centric, streamlined output, that becomes your new product. That becomes the new API that you send out to the AIs doing indirect work. So you've got your AI beacon telling customers, come work with us. And you've got this other API beacon going out and saying, hey, let's say you're a medical device company and you're building a new medical device and you have to do a ton of R&D and you have to do a ton of testing and then you have to do a really complex product launch with tons of government regulations and things to navigate, right? Well, if you're a pharmaceutical company and you've done it right, you've already figured out that whole workflow and that whole work stream, and you've got an AI system that can do all that for you. You just package all that up as a service and ship that off to that medical device company's AI system and say, hey, this is how you do that thing that you haven't done yet. This is how you do the really complex process. You create a service agreement, you charge a fee, you essentially run your business with this new approach. All of this is radical. All of this is something that no other business is doing right now, or maybe 1% of organizations have got this far. This is the type of strategic work that needs to be done right now. Because if you wait to do this until 2027, you're going to be left behind. Your competition will have already rolled out a lot of this. And during the time between right now, March 20th of 2026 and January 1st of 2027, they're going to be doing two things. Number one, they're going to be training up their teams, getting their teams more productive so they can move more fastly. Number two, they're going to be building these agentic systems that are getting exponentially smarter over the next 9 months so that by the time we get to January 1st, they're not only going to have a plan for all of this, but they're going to be able to execute it at a speed that was conceivably impossible as of right now. That's where this exponential technology is going. I talk about it a lot in my book, Turning on Machines, and this idea that I think Wayne Gretzky had one of the best quotes for the AI era, right? So Wayne Gretzky's a hockey player. He said, if you want to be good at hockey, you can't skate to the puck. You have to skate to where the puck is going. In the AI world, you don't have to skate to where the AI is right now. You need to be thinking about where AI is going, because pretty soon it's going to be moving so fast that unless you're 2-3 years ahead of it and planning for that and building for that, everybody else is going to be exactly where you are, and they're going to be either chomping at your heels or starting to outpace you. This is the new era. This is the new strategy that most businesses have no clue how to deploy or have maybe scratched at some of the surface. So again, going back to this idea that C4 can help educate your teams if you're just getting started. We can help you build if you've already got some of the groundwork. We can help you scale with our pod system if you're struggling to keep up with your internal headcount. And we can help you evolve. We see the whole picture. We know where the puck is going. We want to be a part of that journey. And we want to keep that sphere of control in your court so that you feel empowered in all of this. There's no reason somebody else needs to decide your fate or future. There's no reason the rest of the market should be able to decide your fate or future and what your business could ultimately be. So all that being said, what did we cover today? We covered how to create an AI-first organization to some degree. We went into detail on that in the last episode. But we also covered how to start thinking about creating new revenue streams and new lines of business that can help your company flourish in this AI-first era. Lastly, we wrapped up with this concept of your business needs to become an API. You need a shining beacon that tells all the other AIs that are out there why your company is the best to work with. And you need this indirect competitor, pre-baked convention of how work gets done that you can sell as a service to other AI agents and other AI systems. People take on a whole new role in all of this of monitoring how work gets done by the AIs, of managing those AI systems, and most importantly, setting the tone and the pace for where this is all going to go. If this is of any interest to you, there's a few things you should probably do right now to get started. Number one, head over to our website, c4techservices.com. On our website, you can sign up for a discovery session right away if that's of interest. If you're not quite ready for that yet, that's okay. We have an AI readiness assessment that you can take on the website. It takes about 10 minutes to do, and you'll get a full report back on where your organization is at with AI and how you fit into this whole educate, build, scale, evolve structure. That allows us to just hit the ground running, and it's a lot of fun. Let's say you're not ready for that, though. That's okay, too. Follow me on LinkedIn. As a first start, you dip your toes into trusting Zach as your guide and guru through all this AI craziness. I've been writing and working on AI stuff for the last decade. And the number one thing that I want you to feel when you're working with me is that I've got your best interest in mind and we're going to work through this together. There's a lot of ambiguity to deal with here, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Once you start getting the flywheels going with AI, it's a truly exciting and energizing time. And a lot of the fear and a lot of the apprehension around AI starts to fade into the background because you start seeing what that new future could look like. I want to be a part of that journey with you. So if you can, subscribe to the show, the AI for Executives podcast. You can find us on YouTube, and you can even subscribe directly through Riverside FM. If you do, you'll get an email just to confirm that you want to subscribe. Go ahead and click that subscribe link in the email once you do. And then every show here thereafter will just automatically get pushed to you. You can sit back. You can listen to these on the way to work. You can listen to them on the way home from work or before bed or when you wake up in the morning, whatever your thing is. We try to keep them in bite-sized chunks so you can digest all of this before you start your busy day. All that being said, I'm Zach Engler, Chief AI Officer for C4 Technical Services. Thank you so much for watching the show. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.